So, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum. How is everyone? So, today, what we are going to do is to discuss about the functions. Okay, functions which are very important in C++. Okay, and you have the basic idea about the functions. If you remember, you have studied subroutines in assembly. Okay, what is subroutine in assembly? If you remember, we use a delay function in subroutine in assembly, and that subroutine, the purpose of using subroutine, the delay as a subroutine, was that in our main program we were calling the same subroutine multiple times. So, for example, that if I have a part of the code in my program that I need multiple times. Okay, for example, when I was doing my thesis at the time, I had a program where I was doing one task almost, you can say, more than 15 times. So is it possible, is it good, is it appropriate, a good programming to write the full code, the same code multiple times within the main program? It's not a good idea, right? So what we do actually, that if in our program we have certain part of the code that is repeated multiple times, what we do, we take it to the subroutine or a function, and then from the main program we call it multiple times. Okay, we call it multiple times. So in this way, what we actually do, our program becomes more readable. Okay, easy to understand. Okay, easy to organize, and plus it will not be too long. Okay, so if you have a part of the code, so what is a function? Function is that if you have a part of the code in C++ program that is repeated multiple times, you will take it to the function, and from your main program you will call that part of the code as much time as possible. What I will show you first, the how to use the functions in C++. Okay, so what I have done, I have opened this online program compiler. Functions, what we do, okay, there are three things in the functions. Okay, one is called function declaration. Okay, and then we have something which is called function call, and then we have function definition. Okay, for example, this is the function definition part. Okay, now this, if I write the function definition in the beginning of the code, okay, which is what is function definition? Function definition is the main body of the function. Okay, where we have the actual code of the function. Okay, so if we write in the beginning of my program, before the main program, okay, if I write the function, the function definition, then I don't need to declare the function. But for example, if I take this part of the code at the end, okay, after the main function, then I need to declare those function. Okay, so in our actually you can do both, you can adopt both strategies. In this way you can just save some lines of the codes. Okay, if we define from the beginning, what we do, the smart programmers, they define all the functions in the beginning and then they start the main program. So in this function we don't have a function declaration. Okay, because we directly start with the function definition. Okay, this is a block of the function where we have the actual program coding. This is our main program and we are calling this function from the main program. Now let's see that how this function is working. Okay, multiply function, how we are using it, how we are calling it. Okay, and how it is giving the output. Okay, so this is what we have to understand. Okay, so in our main let me just change something here. Okay, so what is happening here, that we have a main function. Okay, and we have two variables, x and y. So we take the input. Okay, you can ask here also, for example, Okay, so enter the two inputs. You ask the user to enter the two inputs, and the user entered the two inputs, and those inputs will be assigned to the variables x and y. Okay, as we always do. We have one more what you call it variable result. Okay, and this result variable will be equal to what we are doing now. We are calling this function multiply. Okay, and these two inputs that we have, we pass it as an we pass this two variable as an input to the function. Okay, now look, this body of the function definition, the body of the function. What is in the function? Every function has two things, inputs and the outputs. Okay, what is the output? Output is this one, okay, which is written before the function is the output type. Okay, so we have an output integer. Okay, and what is this one after the function? We have input. So we have input, inputs a and b. Okay, so integer a, integer b, there is no semicolon here. Okay, integer a and b. So what happens now when you call this function x and y? The value of x will go to a. Okay, the value of y will be transmitted to b. Okay, so x will go to a, y will go to b, and then these value will be passed inside, return a and b. So for example, if I enter 5 and 3, it will make a 5 times 3 15, and it will return this value 15. Now this value when it will come out, okay, so this value is integer type. When it will come out, it will go to the result, okay, which is also the integer type. Okay, so this value will come here, so integer result will become equal to 15 because we enter 5 and 3. So let's run this function, okay, this program, and understand the function. So basically we have two different parts in the program. So we have an integer main function, we have a main function. From main function we are calling this multiply function. Okay, and remember that this one is just we are using one time, right? But the main benefit of a function is when you use it, when you have a block of the code that you call multiple times. Okay, so I will just what is the advantage? For example, I have this function and I have, let's say, 10 lines of the code. Okay, 10 lines of the C++ code that is written in that particular function. Okay, so if I don't use as a function and I write in the main program, and let's say I need to do the same operation 10 times, then I have to write 100 lines of the codes. Okay, but now what is happening, that I have just created a function. Okay, maybe it is 10 lines, and only I will call it from 10 places. Okay, so every time it will come here, it will do to do that particular task, it will go back. Okay, like we use delay subroutine in our assembly. Okay, so this is the main simple idea of the function, how we use it, and how we define it, and all this. So now we have, let's run this one. Yeah, okay, sorry, just 1 minute. So here, this is the output. It is asking me enter the two inputs. Okay, because of this one, integer, enter the two inputs. So let's say I put 5, the first input, I enter, and I put 3, or 3 as second input. So what happened now? This one, it will call this function, it will come here, it will return a into b, which is what, 5 into 3, which is 15. 15 will be assigned to this one, so result value will become 15. Then it will print the output, the multiplication of the two numbers is 15. Okay, so this is the way the function it operates. And here, as I told you, we don't have defined defined the function definition. So function definition for a function declaration. So function declaration, for example, if I want to use function declaration, I can take this one part of the code. Okay, and here I can define function declaration. How we write function declaration? We write integer multiply. okay, our function, and we simply write the input types and output types. So I will just write, okay, so integer multiply integer integer, okay, and semicolon. So this is the way it is, we define the function, we make the function declaration, okay. So here we declare the function, and then here we have function definition, okay. So let's run. So see here, there is no error. It means what we have done in the beginning, we have declared the function, then we have the main program, we have we call the function, okay, and then this function will be called, and we will do the certain task. Whatever the task in the function will be performed, it will come back and return the output, okay, and then print the output, okay. So this is the way. So this is what we call it. See here, I'm just doing this one, okay. Now this is called, as I said, function declaration, okay, and so you know, this is comment we put, and then here we have function call, then we have here, this is simply function definition, okay. So these are the different parts of the function. This is how we use it. If you want, if you wish, as I said to you, you can remove this function declaration. You can start from the function definition, write the code block of the function, and then you write the main program, okay. So in this program, basically I'm not I'm just using the function just to make you understand how we use it, okay. But eventually the benefit comes for the function when we have a code part of the code that is repeated multiple times. Then we call that part of the code, then we take that part of the code in the function, then from our main program we call that part of the code multiple times. So that is the actual advantage of the function, okay. Like delay subroutine, if you remember, we call it 4 or 5 times from the main program in our assembly language programming. So this is the basic idea of this play of the function. What you can do, you can just practice the same thing in this online compiler that we have seen already, okay. Now let's go to our handouts, okay. So now yeah, this is the handout number 1. You guys have done the first 2 program. Now this is where we are using the functions, okay. So what the program is, let's see, that I write a program that I will not just solve it, I will just give you a hint. Eventually you have to solve in the lab, okay. Yeah, one thing is very critical, okay, just only to make you understand. For example, if I don't have any output, okay, from the function, here we have an output, right? Here we have an output, return AB from, we have an output, okay. But if we don't have any output in the function, here is an output that is going to the result variable, okay. But assume we don't have any output from the function, okay. Then we will write it void, okay. What we will write it? Very simple, void, okay. So I can just write here void and see, okay. And what can I do? I'm not using, for example, this one, and I'm just simply doing what? Cout
Oh yes, Munafiq are those people who are
okay, and I will write A multiply by B and L, okay. And here I don't need to now because it is not giving me any value, okay. So this one is, I will not use this integer result, okay. I will just simply call this one, okay, and khalas, I don't need also this part of the program. Look here, what will happen. So you define this one, but it has an output void type. Void means there is no data type, okay. The output has no data type. There is no output basically, okay. And basically there is no output from this program, from this function. So we have in our main program, we have two variables x and y, integer the two inputs. You provide the inputs and multiply x, y. Now you call this function. Now there is no since there is no output, so we did not write result equal because there is no output from that particular function, okay. So we call this function multiply x, y, and we pass these two variables into the function, okay, multiply. And as there is no output, and here we define integer a and b, and here simply I do what, see out the multiplication of the two numbers is a times b, so it will print the value directly. So, and it is not giving you an output, right? It is not returning. When I say it is not giving an output, means it is not returning any output, it is simply printing, okay. So let's run it. So simply it is working fine. We have 5, 4, and C. Okay, very simple. So now I have a function which has the input but has no output. Similarly, we can have functions which can have output but without input. We just call it without any input. We provide and we just define inside the function. We define input and output. For example, I just do like this, okay. Now let's see, this is very good, okay. I don't do anything here, okay, and I call this one, okay. Let's call this one also, okay. So what happens now? It's just simply you start the program and you call this function, okay. When you call this function, now here I write it void, please try to understand, okay. So no input, no output. What it is doing, simply you come in this one, okay, x and y, and you will no need to define x and y here, okay, and you just simply call this function, okay. Now it will just simply go to that function, okay. Now here you have void, okay. Just only no need to write void 2 times. You can just write. You will no need to write anything basically. So it is simply a function without any input. Okay, no input, no output. Okay. Now here you will define everything. Now, okay, you will define. Enter the two numbers. C in x, y. Okay, and you will define also integer x, y. Okay, so I am doing everything within the function itself, okay, right? Okay, and then I say, let's say, so here I have x into y. So now just look here, we did not do anything, we simply, now everything is within the function itself. Here it will go to the main function and simply call this function, okay. This function has no input, so no argument is passed, no input is passed, or no output, okay. It comes here, it will do all the operation, okay, enter the two inputs, take the two inputs, and then it will print the result. That's it, so simple, okay. And then it will come back. So everything will be within, input and output all within, okay. So it depends the way you want, and it depends on your application how you are doing, okay. So look here, see, program is working fine, I have no issues. So let's say 5. Now this all is happening within the function block, okay, and then finish it, come back and to the main and finishes. So there are multiple ways. You have functions with input and output, function without input, only output, function without output, only input, or function without any input and output, okay, depending upon what kind of application you have. Now let's go back to the handout. What we are doing here, write a program that flashes LED 3 times according to an entered number. So you have an entered number. Let's say I enter, assume 255. So it will flash all the output 255. All the output, because 255 means 8 ones, right? All the outputs, easily. Okay. So all the outputs, 3 times. Okay. And similarly, for example, if I have 15, then it will flash the first four outputs. Okay. And it will keep asking you if you like to repeat before ending. If yes, okay, then it will repeat. Otherwise, if you press any other character, it will stop flashing 3 times. Okay, it will stop, and it will just flash all the LEDs 3 times. So first time it will depend in the first task. Okay, either you enter the input and just according to that in number you flash the LED 3 times. Okay, if you want to repeat, and it will keep doing that. If you don't want to repeat, what it will do, the program will itself flash all the LED, means with 255, okay, 3 times. So here I define the 2 functions, because for 2 tasks I have 2 functions, and there is no output, or no output for basically. Okay, it is just simply a flashing. Okay, flashing, we use the functions write all digital or set digital channel. Okay, so that we don't need to make any output or input numbers, any output or any number output. Okay, so we keep void flash integer. Why integer? Because whatever the input I will take, I will pass it to this function. Okay, because basically it is telling you whatever the input you have, okay, it will, according to that entered number, it will flash. So that input I will take, I will pass it to the flash function. And flash all void is what? Void because it is just flashing all the outputs, all the LEDs. So there is no input number or there is no output number. Okay, so simple. So you have in the main function, what you have, clear screen, we know integer num because you want to take the input. Okay, and character, this character query I defined it because I need to ask the user whether he want to repeat the program or not. Okay, so here we have and we just, the label is again. Okay, at again we will call it. Okay, again and again. So here you can see use go to. So I will write go to again. I will write here go to again. It will jump here. It will repeat the task. So here it will ask to enter the number. So you will write the code C in num. Okay, first of all message. Okay, enter a number C in num. Then you will call this one. This num variable will pass it. It will pass to the this one here, this function. Okay, void flash LED. Okay, here is this is function definition. So we have function declaration in the beginning, and this is function definition where we have the actual code. And here, so whatever the value of the num, let's say in the num I enter 15, so that 15 will pass to the variable LED. Okay, now we have a variable, another, this is called local variable. Okay, local variable which is known only to this function. Okay, it is not known to the main program. So then I will write a code. Okay, write all digital LED, then sleep one. Okay, flashing and clear all digital and sleep one. This one, how to flash. Okay, flashing on and off. And then it will user feedback. Okay, you want to check the user. If user is saying yes or no, you will ask the user, do you want to repeat? Then you will check. Okay, C in. Okay, and by the help of this character query. Okay, C in query, and then you will make go to again. Okay, if it is yes. Okay, and if he say that no, else, then you will just come here. Okay, so this one you will write yourself, by the way. Okay, and then you will finish the program. Here when it will if it is not asking to repeat, okay, very simple, it will call this flash all function in the flash all. Here now, okay, flash all, there is no input and output. Why? Simply because you will write all digital 255, sleep one, clear all digital sleep 1, okay, because it is flashing all. So we know flashing all, we write either we use set all digital or we use write all digital 255, okay. It is very well known. So this is the way you will do this function program, okay. This program, yes, this program also the same type as we have discussed in the first program. We will do all this program, by the way, okay. Same way, the way I have explained, you will do this program as well. In this, what we have, in this we have yeah, this program is actually repeated, okay, from the handout 1 and how to, same program is repeated 2 times. This is the main program that you will do in the next class, okay. And after that we have the input. I told you we use the read digital channel or read all digital, okay, for the inputs. Now if you remember, this program you have done in last class we have done, but in this program we were taking the input from the keyboard, okay, from the keyboard. But here it is telling you input from the channels, input channels, okay, not the keyboard, but was from the channels. So this is very, very important. You have to understand that you don't have the input from the keyboard, you have the input from the switches. Clear? Okay, so you will make the output based on the input. So here you will use the two functions, read digital, you can use read digital channel 1, read digital channel 2, whatever, or you can use read all digital, but I will recommend to use read digital channel, okay. Why? Because the problem is that in our program, in our program we have certain issues in the lab, okay. The issue is that or not all the inputs are working, okay. In some boards, some inputs they are not working, so some switches are not working. So you will just identify which switch numbers are working, and accordingly you will just select those inputs, okay. So for example, in some board you have input, for example, channel of 2 and 5 are working, okay. So you will use those two. If it is 1 and 3, you will use 1 and 3. 2 and 4, you use 2 and 4, okay. So this is the reason I'm just telling you not to use read all digital, because read all digital you will use the values in the buffer. It will be simply 0, 1, 2 and 3, okay. Read all digital, and then accordingly you can check the output. But here if you use the read digital input, okay, then you will save it to a buffer, let's say A and B, and then you will check using the if condition. For example, I use this command. For example, I will tell you. So I say read digital channel, okay, A equals to, I will define a variable, two variable, integer A, integer B. So A will be equals to read digital channel 1 and B equals to read digital channel 2. Now I will say if, then I will write A double equals to 1, mean I am checking if the value of A is 1, and double and and B is equals to 0, double equal to 0. So I will just check the equality, okay, for that case, okay, and then accordingly I will define the output. So this is the way you can run the program. Clear, my friends? Then this program is very simple. Yeah, you can see here it is written there, by the way. The program is already there. You can just check this one, okay, and you will run the program, okay, just only to make it easy for you. I think I have done it already. So you see here I am just calling the functions and I am checking. I have A equals to B equals to this one. I just read the channel from the inputs, and then I am just checking if it is 0, 0, okay. Then I have called a function fan1, okay, and here I will make this output. I use the function for the same also, okay. So fan1, so what is fan1? Fan1, there is no input and output, and set digital channel 1. Why? Because this is the output one, okay. Output, the first channel is on, okay. So it's very simple, okay, you can do. Okay guys, so inshallah next class, before next class, please review this video multiple times, and you will come in the lab, okay. Then inshallah we will discuss this this very important okay application, okay my friends. on important program. We will do all these programs for C++ in the lab. And if it is not finished next week, we will do in the next week or 2 weeks. Also, we can do in 2 weeks time. Okay. Thank you. Assalamu alaikum.